Insert V8 two-step. Bop, 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 bop. Launching. What's going on, guys? Dakota Flatline Detonation here. Back working on the Datsun. Today we need to work on the shifter, and we also need to measure for the drive shaft. I plan on putting the car into cold storage. This shed is great to work in. With the heater on and the temperature going up and coming down, condensation builds everywhere in here, and seeing as the car is in primer, I really don't want this car to rust. So I need to do a couple things today before I can actually pull the car out of here. I need to pull the engine and the transmission. I need to just take some measurements of a bunch of things. I'll show you that in a second here. Before I can go and pull this engine and transmission combo out of the car, I need to figure out exactly where my shifter needs to come out. If you guys remember, I'm going to try to use this as my shifter. I'm going to build this basically as the base. So that needs to come essentially through here at some point, and it looks like this part right here can be my point of reference. Needs to go right above that, so I need to build a pedestal to hold this and the shifter and everything right there. Really sorry about my nasally voice. Being sick in the Midwest sucks. I need to install this drive shaft shop adapter onto the transmission. This converts the 3-bolt fixed yoke on the back to something you can bolt a regular style U-joint to. This is not for this right here. This is actually for the diff on the car. So what I need to do is install this, measure from this point to the face of the differential, and that'll be the length of my drive shaft. Let's get to measuring the drive shaft. Hopping up underneath here. If you guys remember the last video or a couple videos back, putting this thing together, it's still just tacked in. I decided I'm going to, once I pull this out, I'm gonna cut these back off, and then I'm going to put a steel plate on the bottom so it spreads out the surface area and these can't like rip a hole in the floor. So I've got my drive shaft adapter here, and this is going to slide straight onto here like so. It's machined perfectly for the hole. I'm assuming that's why it works up to like 10,000 RPMs, because it's not going to be unbalanced in any way. I'm just gonna put these on hand tight. Now that this is on here, what I need to do is measure from the face of this to the face of my differential here. And that will be the distance that I need to have the drive shaft shop make me a drive shaft for. Looks like the drive shaft needs to be 24 inches and 3/4. I'm not sure what they'll have to make for play inside of here, because the actual joint will have to be right around here. So when there's differences, when this moves and this moves, there needs to be some kind of play in the drive shaft. Otherwise you would, I don't really know what would happen, but I'm sure it would like rip the bolts out and you'd have all sorts of drivetrain binding. So there needs to be some kind of flex point. Just like with exhaust, there needs to be some kind of flex point. I've taken all the measurements I need. Now I can go ahead and pull this combo out. I'll spare you all of that and make this easy. Ta-da! Engine's out, transmission's already off of it. Since the engine's out of the car, I can also do my oil pan, put that on there, maybe do a cam swap and the springs right away. I don't know if I want to do that because I don't know if the engine runs, but all things I could get done really easy since it's out of the car, and then we can just toss it all up back in there and fire this bad boy up. My friend's actually going to help me make the shifter at his house. He's got a heated garage, so I don't need to worry about trying to heat this. Let's head over there and let's get to work on making a shifter for this car. Okay, this is our pedestal for the shifter. This is the base of the shifter. Everything here is going to eventually get drilled, cut, and glued. The shifter will actually get threaded. I got a 10 by 1.25 tap. So a bolt will go between here. That'll make this adjustable. The actual shifter will be like this. I need to cut that little piece, weld it onto there. Got everything all shiny and clean. I'm gonna let the professional come in here in a second and glue all this stuff together, because I'd probably butcher it with my MIG welder. Hopefully this is all making sense. This is basically just gonna be the base of the shifter. I need to reinforce the actual bracket on the shifter over there a little bit more. I'll get to that in a second. On it? Mm-hmm. Way better than my MIG welder. It's not focusing. Ah! Does not like focusing there. It's just a little bit better than MIG welding. I'm confused. Usually I have to grind after this. All tacked. Ready to lay some dimes? Oh, look at that technique, walking the cup. She's underfilled. Ooh, look at that. So this is the result of perfect planning gone wrong. I wasn't paying attention. And when we welded it upside down. So now we need to weld this on top and then cut the extension off the bottom. Crisis has been averted. New nut has been welded on. Now I need to cut the stock end off of the stock shifter so we can weld it onto the end of this one. Voila! Now I can cut the head of this bolt off, weld this on, and we have a custom shifter. Now you can see the method to the madness. This is fully adjustable, so the farther out you go, the shorter the shift will be. Still need a weld on the, I'm going to do an M10 by 1.25 because it's like a Honda shifter, MX5 shifter, so you can have a bunch of different extensions to buy for it. Now we need to drill a bunch of holes in here and then weld up the pedestal to mount this to on the trans. Shifter is coming along. Got the uprights kind of clamped in place here. Just drill a hole through here, use the factory mount on each side. Obviously cut this off here. Then the pedestal that we made earlier will fit right into here. Obviously it won't sit that low. I'm gonna make some adjustability with this so I can raise it up as high as I possibly can. Obviously I'm limited by the height of the trans tunnel unless I actually cut the hole in the trans tunnel out so I can fit this through the floor. I really don't think I'll need a whole lot of height, but we'll find out once we get this in place and actually run it through the gears. Okay, I need to catch you up on some things here because we haven't updated you in a while. We have 2 gears. I only have 2 because I need to notch this thing underneath. So I have full play. Also need to probably weld this side and then put a jam nut on this side because it moves, but the throw is extremely short. That would be 3rd, 4th. I've got spare metal from the trans bracket I made. This is from like an old bed frame. I need to figure out if this or this is the reverse lockout solenoid so I can put power to it to make sure I have enough play to the side so I can get it into reverse. And if I don't have enough play, I'll have to notch out the universal joint here, which I really don't want to do, but if I have to. Who needs a truck when you've got an $800 BMW? It's got a TR6060 in it. Yes, I paid $800 for this BMW. Let me know if you guys want to see videos on this thing. Let's get this unloaded. I should probably run you guys through this one more time. But before that, I'd like to say a huge thanks to Matt because he made all these welds look great. He has a lot more special tools than I do, so it made making this shifter a lot easier. But as you can see, like, there's nothing really fancy about it. You guys can do this at home with a basic MIG welder. You could probably even do it with like an arc welder. Wouldn't recommend it, but you could probably do it. When we left you at Matt's place, we had to notch on either side of the bolts so we could get it into the other gears. Now we have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Reverse is up and to the right. I will have to figure out how to put this on a switch. This is your reverse lockout, so you don't accidentally go into reverse, shifting in the 5th, which would be really, really bad. Probably wouldn't actually go in, but you'd hear a lot of awful sounds. So I want to talk about budget and user friendliness of this shifter that we made. First thing we'll start out with is budget, which is really, really, really cheap. Again, cheap shifter off Amazon. It was like $9. This was a 4-inch shifter off eBay, which was, I believe, $6. This is a Universal Simplicity or Tractor Uniball bearing. That was, I believe, $7. Some threaded rod from any hardware store, which is like a whopping $3. Leftover metal from my trans mount. Some free angle iron. I believe it's from like a bed frame or something. So stuff that you guys probably have laying around your garage or somebody else's garage that they would just give your way. Under $50 for the shifter, which compared to like a company like Sinky, which I'm not knocking their stuff is really good. You literally buy it, you bolt it in, it works. But there's a huge price tag with that kind of stuff. Now, what do you guys think? I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. This shifter works great. Obviously, it needs some road time to work out any bugs that it might have. The only thing I could see being an issue would be this jam nut here, because you have side to side, could possibly come loose. For now, I'm going to use like a red Loctite or something that's a little more on the aggressive side. If it becomes an issue, all I gotta do is take a MIG welder and weld it up. Problem solved. You might be asking yourself, why do you have so much threaded rod sticking out? Well, that's because I can make this shifter even shorter by raising the shifter higher. So say you're building a custom car or a truck or something that you have all the room in the world to put the shifter through the trans tunnel. You could actually go way higher at this, and I'll show you that. I call this the ludicrous mode. It's a little uneven, but it'll work for demonstration purposes. This right here is fully adjustable. I tried to make everything in this fully adjustable for whatever application. I don't have that jam nut tightened up, this guy right here yet, so I can simply unscrew this. As you can see, that's way farther out. Now all you have to do is put some Loctite on there, put the jam nut up, that's locked into place. You have your side to side movement, front to back movement. But what has happened, because this is so much higher, your throw has been reduced. So that's third, that's fourth. Hardly anything. You have a longer throw in most cars just going into one gear than you do from third to fourth in this shifter. Fantastic. Again, huge thanks to Matt for helping me make these welds not look like complete bird poop. I hope you guys learned something. If you guys enjoy these videos, make sure to do all the stuff, and we will see you next time when we put the engine together. Thanks for watching. See you guys.